A passive aggressive, dismissive avoidant, they don't fight for love. We talked about this before. But I'm going to talk about the response they take to someone questioning, why aren't you fighting for our relationship? A passive aggressive, dismissive avoidant will normally get frustrated because now it's like you're forcing them to do something against their will. When at first, they were all in it. Like, they could have fooled you by the way they were so soaked into this relationship and it meant so much to them. It was like a top priority at one time. Not to be mistaken for how a narcissist love bombs and, do all those too good to be true deeds in the beginning. Like the passive aggressive, dismissive avoidant, they will really convince you that they are the one. And not to say that they don't truly love you, but it is very difficult for them to express those feelings for someone once they feel like it has to be forced. Because now it puts the passive aggressive DA on the spot to see someone else outside of themselves and, make it a top priority to fight for something other than just a hobby. Because the DA will really look at a relationship as a hobby once it becomes work. Once they see that they have to do work for someone else for whatever it's worth. A person who truly loves someone and they don't see themselves with someone else, or they can't get them off their mind, they will approach the situation as something that's worth going for. It's worth the try to see if, we still have a chance, if it's worth, trying again. But with a DA, they don't look at relationships like that. If you were to, kind of like set standards higher, expect a little bit more out of them. Some people are so lazy. I'm not going to say some people. I'm going to say the DA. They become so lazy, like stuck in their ways, till they think, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which just goes to show that they don't see an issue with themselves as a person would with them. So they're not willing to compromise and make changes to save their relationship. You can pretty much expect the passive-aggressive DA to dismiss the opportunity to fix the relationship if there's anything that needs to be fixed, whether it's on the partner's behalf or them. They will dismiss the fact that, well, maybe I need to work on some things and you need to work on some things. Some couples are totally fine with taking a break. Myself, I don't believe in taking a break. That's just my personal preference. When I'm in a relationship with someone, I don't believe in taking a break. We can work on ourselves while we're still together, and what makes it better by doing it while you're together is because you can be each other's support system. You have to have that positivity within it all. But when you're a selfish, passive-aggressive DA, you're not gonna ever really see anything in a way to where, maybe we should kind of reconstruct what we're doing here so that we can thrive and be better, be better together. They don't see that. Again, they pretty much stuck in their ways, and they will even just accept you as is when you can look in the mirror and see where there can be, where you could do better, where you can make better changes for yourself. And you can point it out to them as well. But what they do is take it as a criticism. They're quick to go into defense mode and claim that you're being critical on them, and that's the last thing they need. Again, they say things like, I'm not playing games with someone as far as running behind you. And it's like, now you have to teach them how to see things differently, like from a different perspective. from an adult perspective. Like, it's not playing games because you love someone and, things got kind of off and you want to fix it and still be together. That's not playing games. A mature way to respond to that is to be open-minded and understanding, compassionate, considerate, and compromising. But we're talking about a passive-aggressive dismissing avoidant. What they'll do is pretty much argue the fact that I didn't see nothing wrong, and I just feel like now doing all this is causing problems for me and taking me off focus from other things that I'm trying to focus on. And it's like, well, when we, like, I never seen this side of you to where you express how unimportant it is for us to be together. Now, this is where you'll kind of see some of the similarities when it comes to a covert narcissist response to why aren't you fighting for us, and a passive-aggressive DA's response. Because if they notice that you're really pushing for the right response to fixing a relationship, they will look at it as you're begging, like you're over-explaining, and that gives them supply. It also gives the DA supply, because now they feel good again knowing that, well, you're not giving up on me even though I'm not giving in to you. So that's the big difference with the passive-aggressive DA and a narcissist. Once they see that you are really pining to keep things together and it just seems like they don't care, they're willing to throw the towel in and give up on you. Narcissists, they'll be sitting back, probably pretty much not responding at all, giving you the total silent treatment, but looking at everything you're saying. If you're texting them, looking at every call and deliberately just letting it go to the voicemail, they get their kicks off of that. But they want you to do it. Whereas a passive-aggressive DA, it doesn't matter to them if you blow them up or not. But they'll let you know that I'm available when you're ready to, put things back where it was. And sometimes they'll just like say, forget about it. I'm comfortable with where I'm at now with things. And they can totally just go into, the friend zone with you. Like, what? Like, so you really don't see that this is not normal behavior with the person who has been in a committed relationship with someone for 5 years. You can just easily just say, okay, well, if this how it's gonna be, fine with me. It's like, dang, where are your feelings and emotions behind it? You're not expressing that to me, and it will make a person feel some kind of way, and and it'll hurt. It'll make you angry. It'll give you all the emotions, normal emotions that it should, and it'll also be very understanding to respond in ways to like, why are you acting like this? Like, it would make you question them and let them know how much this is bothering you. Whereas again, with a narcissist, they already know what they're doing. They just knew from the beginning, And so that's pretty much how it is when it comes to a passive-aggressive DA and fighting for a relationship. So I want to conclude in saying that the whole thing about the passive-aggressive DA is getting them to see you. And is it worth you pointing it out to them that I just don't think you see my worth? Because if it gets to the point to where it's a repetitive thing and you always see yourself in the same cycle of, just pining for their attention, like, do you see me? Do you care that we haven't been together? Like, do you feel anything between the time and the distance in between, or the silent treatment? You're totally fine if we just go silent. And another thing, if you don't make the initiative, a lot of times the passive-aggressive DA will not make the initiative to reach out to you first, because they don't see the point. Like, they'll look at it as like this, and I'm gonna end it here. A passive-aggressive DA will claim that I didn't have a problem with you, and you're like, okay, it's not me though. The reason why I got kind of frustrated and I really just weren't reaching out to you over the last few days is because you. But it's like, it's something that you just don't say because you're hoping that they'll get it and reach out to you first, and want to know why I haven't been talking, so what's going on, or I miss you. People want to know that they're missed, with the distance and the silence in between, for relationships that matter. And if you feel like it's worth fighting for, if it's worth saving, like, is there a point to it? But if you feel like it's totally pointless to keep doing this because it's just taking more out of you than it's serving you, then maybe you should just call it a quits. And, you just got to put yourself first at this point, and not in a sometimes it is okay to be selfish, especially when you give, and you're just not receiving very much other than a bare minimum in return. That's when you gotta, check yourself and say, is it even worth, just continuing this, or should I just shut it down and go the other way? Maybe that'll be the best thing for you. Maybe you'll be best off, ending it with no hard feelings. It's just, you're disappointed and you're hurt, but once you see this person for who they are, you have to accept it, because there's no sense in keep lying to yourself and wasting your time just expecting someone to change who don't think that it's really worth it for you.